Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode here on the HermitCraft server. I had no plans to start recording anytime soon, but I was standing around waiting for all this lava to disappear and I thought, do you know what, I might as well start recording and showing you what I'm up to. So there was a little bit of lava just up there and I've since clogged it up and it has spread like all the way down this side of the mountain and all of the way down that side over there. It's pretty spectacular. I don't want to move out too far though because we need to kind of stick in this area. There you go, you can see it goes all the way down there. So we're working on the border that does the inside of the spawn, well I say inside, the spawn chunks itself, the lazy chunks are that area over there, and we're just at the very last corner of that now. I've been removing more of the dirt. I went through my entire hoe in the last episode, which is crazy, so repaired that. And we've come all the way along here as well. I've also been removing a lot of dirt in this area, down the bottom as well. So we are making some decent progress. As you can see over there, there's still some grass in this spawn chunks. And at this point, I'm not really sure if I want to do too much more, or at least too much, on-camera stuff with the spawn chunks, because we've done a lot of that lately, and it's the same old thing. But I thought I'd start recording this episode and bring you up to speed on where we're at. So we're almost finished doing the spawn chunks border, which is really good. And I wanted to let you know that there is a channel called HermitCraft Recap, which has been made by some members of the, I guess you could say, like the extended community, the audience, and they've created like a weekly recap of events that go on here on the server from all the different people that play on it. And if you're interested in seeing that, once a week a video letting you know what's happened on the vanilla server, then I'm going to put a link to their channel in the description box, and I'd highly recommend going over there and checking it out as well. Now, it's entirely, fan-based. I don't really know the people who have put it together, but it's really professional, really well done with a lot of care, and I think you guys would really like it. So yeah, go check out the description box if you like the sound of that, and consider subscribing to them. But anyway, I'm going to continue here working on the spawn chunks, and maybe I'll show you some more of what we're doing over here, or maybe we'll go start a new project or work on the base today. At this point, I don't know. I'm just sort of focusing on what we're doing here at the moment. By the way, another thing I was going to mention, I completely forgot to bring ender pearls with me. And so I've been sort of travelling around using the bucket of water, which has helped get rid of some of the grass. And I was thinking this is really good, actually, using the bucket to get around. And then it sort of occurred to me, wait a minute, this is incredibly slow. Because with one ender pearl throw, I could be up where I want to be. Otherwise, it's tons and tons of bucket usage. But it hasn't, really slowed me down too much. The train has been pretty kind to me so far. But I do need to head back and grab some ender pearls. And I was just thinking, let's try and make it a bit of an objective today to remove all of the grass in the spawn chunks if that's possible. There's still these big floating islands that could take a lot of time. But then maybe we can head out and actually start work on building the passive mob farm somewhere, which at this point I haven't thought about it in a while, so I don't know what that would include, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of things to do. One of the first things would of course be setting up like a nether tunnel and a way to get out there, and also finding the right location, but I'll give myself some more time to think about that before we talk about it. And as of right now, I'm going to go grab myself some ender pearls. Alright, we are now on my camera account, and the reason that we are is because I did a little bit of investigating and saw a site that I thought was pretty cool and wanted to share with you. So, as I mentioned, we didn't have any ender pearls. I decided that we should go and get some, and then that kind of prompted me to figure out how they make their way from the Iron Titan over to the spawn chunks. Now, I have a rough idea, and I'm still a little bit mystified because this is where the items drop from the end into the overworld. So if you drop an item into an end portal, there's a fixed position in the world where it will arrive, which will be at the highest point. So because there's blocks up here, this is where they're going to land. So they drop into the water, they go down into here, and if we sort of follow its path, it will drop down somewhere around where these pressure plates are, which is a little bit worrying, but they do make their way over to Hermit Hills, so we know that's okay. Then they're going to drop down this side right here, and I reckon it's going to be this little corner here where they would land on top of iron and float over there. Now, I don't see any form of like minecart hopper here that could pick up the items from the iron blocks. In fact, I've just spotted what it is. There's slabs there. Aha! Now it all makes sense. Okay, so the ender pearls would drop into this water stream, go around over here. They then get elevated. we in the middle of glass at the moment? We are. So they go all the way up. Then they go over here. That looks like the thing for iron. Maybe I've lost track of where the ender pearls go. Or maybe they get filtered out here. That could be it. Either way, I sussed out that eventually they make their way down where this ladder is. So they come down here and they go all the way down to the bottom. And I am taking damage. You can hear the noise, can't you? Ugh. There was a zombie. Wow, he got me down to like 4 hearts. Okay, I've got to be careful where I AFK. You can hear that because of the game sounds. Right, back to the camera account. So they land in this water stream and then they go all the way off in this direction into the distance. And the ender pearls will get caught in the unloaded chunks. So in order to get them to Hermit Hills, you have to take the journey across from the spawn chunks to Hermit Hills, and then all the ender pearls arrive, which is what I did a moment ago. And I put the camera account on to see it in action. And as we go down here, we've got to keep our eye on the water because eventually we should catch up with the ender pearls. And watching them go across is actually pretty cool. There we go. There's a massive group of ender pearls right there. There was a lot more when I did this before, and I think that's because no one had walked over there in a while, and it looked pretty spectacular. This, you know, just one group of ender pearls, not quite the same. And look at that, they start to split up momentarily, and they've split up again. And it is a long, long journey. Look at this. Such a distance. Alright, and now here's where things get cool, because they go up through the item elevator. Check that out. We want to follow these all the way around here. There you go. And they go up, and then they'll make their way into another water stream. And then they come along here. This looks so cool, I think. It really does. And they go all the way over here into another one. And then up to here. And still another journey to go. I guess there must have been some obstacles in the way that Tango had to, like, move these around. And then this is where they get picked up. So they get picked up by these hoppers. And then they go up into the chests in this little room. Is it here or is it the one above? Yeah, and I was here a moment ago, and you can see there are now like lots of ender pearls to select from. But yeah, that's the journey that they take. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I thought I'd share it with you too. So you got to see this site. I have been hard at work again. This is just taking a crazy amount of time, by the way, but we're sort of down to the final group of patches now. We have a little bit over here in the corner that we need to do, just this little area. Over in this direction we have that floating island and this bit here, and then for the entire spawn chunks it's just this little bit over here. You see where the grass is? That stuff needs sorting out, and the rest of it has all been done. There's also this tiny little... oh no, I've actually hit that one up already. Okay, there's another hidden little patch somewhere I need to hit on the way down. I think it's over on this side actually. Yeah, just right there. So the water's been hanging over for long enough that all of it's turned to dirt, and this has definitely been much faster. However, with this one over here, I had to do a lot of dropping down, swimming in the water, finding all of these blocks that didn't quite get hit. So all of that's been done, and I've been flying around with the camera count, just double checking it and making sure it's all good, which it appears to be so. So what we can do is we can remove that block over there, and then I figured that we'd watch things happen, you know, with the camera account, do something a little bit different. So you should be able to see my player moving now. I've switched over to a different screen. I'm going to throw an ender pearl. Please don't be a fail. No, it wasn't. It was a good throw. And hello. Can you even see me? You can barely see me. It's like sword waggling there. Let's go up to the top. Just going to hop around the back here, and then we can remove the water that we have over here, and it will all start to fall down. And I don't need to drop down and get anything on the way down, just need to let that go. Then we're going to go back over to the other side where all of that starts to disappear. This is really cool watching it on the on the other screen. I've got my recording software up and I can sort of see my little character off in the distance running along. Do you know what I'd like to do actually? I'd like to change this camera angle slightly. Just zoom in a little bit more. There we go. That's a much better shot, isn't it? Alright, and now we're going to ender pearl back over to this side. Perfect. We're going to pick up the other water source block from this side, and because I didn't have a second water bucket over here, I had to do the technique with the blocks underneath to spread the water out so it goes down on all sides. So you'll see over here that there is a load of like stone bricks everywhere, which we need to start getting rid of, and there's also some grass up the top here, so I got to run around removing this with my hoe at the moment. Let's actually go and focus now on that. Over here we go. Bam, you can see all the stone bricks at the top, and you can see some of the grass that didn't get removed as well. So now I've got to rush around doing all of that. But there you go, that's what I've been up to. That's the kind of process of how things go over here when we're removing all of the grass. So about 99% of the grass in the spawn chunks has been removed, and at this point I really want to start work on the passive mob farm. Now there's still the lazy chunks to do, but at this point I feel like if we go and build the farm we'll at least see some spawns in it, so we know we can go back to the spawn chunks, we can remove more grass and increase the spawn rates in our passive mob farm. But first of all, what we've got to do is pick a location. So obviously, we're looking at the HermitCraft world. This tool is called Mist. It's like a world overviewer. So what we're looking at is like how the world naturally generates. Obviously, we've built things on this world. Now, you may recognize one part of the server from this view, which you're probably not going to recognize anything at all from, is the quad witch huts over here. So that's where they are. Now, if we switch to our HermitCraft map that we use, I've taken a picture of a Mist, and then I've hooked it up to labelled all of the little areas that we are in. So you can see the Quad Witch farm is over here. We've got Spunwax space where he used to be. We've got Mumbo, Cleo, Hermit Hills and Hermit Fields. This is where everything is in relation to each other. So it might look a little bit strange looking at it from this view. There's my base right there, the little swamp inside of the mountains. That's my bit. Down here it says Sheep Farm. That is the old temporary one. Of course, we moved it over here to Rainbow Fall. And this brings us to what I want to talk about, is that we've got to pick out an ideal place to go and build this. So let's swap back to Mist and let's go down to where False's island is. So I know that she's built on this main bit and a couple of other islands around. So I was kind of aware that maybe what we're looking at we won't be able to do. But my idea was that if we build it near where Rainbow Fall is, then you've got one tunnel going to two things. So I looked at this island and I thought, yeah, that looks good. And then I went, wait a minute, we should probably see how big this actually is. So I'm looking in the top right hand corner, and it's the one on the right hand side that is up and down. So at the bottom of the plains biome, we'll get back to that in a minute, it is 852 are the last three numbers, and at the top it is 817. So it's not even 40 blocks from one to the other, and look at the shape of it. It's probably not going to be very good for squeezing in a farm, is it? And that's where we kind of run into a problem. Now, what I want to point out is that we need the plains biome so that we can get some decent mob spawning there. The cows, the pigs, the rabbits, horses, they all spawn in the plains biome, so that's the one that we're looking for. Now, what we're not looking for is something inland, because if we were to do that, we'd have to build another perimeter, which is kind of what we've just done in the spawn chunks. So an island is good because if you're on a lone island, all you're loading is ocean around you, and it means you just got that small area to work with. So I've been looking around, and this one would have been ideal, except half of it is forest, and I'm not sure that Sunflower Plains is good for much either. I imagine though it's probably going to work like plains. Anyway, I started to set my eyes to other parts of the map. If we go over to this one again, we have XB Crafted's area down here. There's like one or two islands that sort of almost look big enough. This one over here looks really good, but that's a jungle biome. And up here we've got Lake Monkey as well. You can see there's some islands over here. That one sort of looked alright, but could never find anything that was quite big enough. And over in Hypno's area I found a candidate, which is this one right here. That looks significantly bigger. It looks like you could fit a farm in it. It's also a little bit close to this area here as well, so we have to sort of measure the distance and make sure it's not too close, because you don't want to be building a farm there and loading loads of chunks on this area over here, because then you have to go to those chunks and remove all of the grass. The other location was possibly down the bottom here, although I think we've got to go to Mist to look to that. So remember that the biome is important. For example, this one over here is jungle, which is not what we're looking for. So unless we want to build an ocelot farm, but we're not doing that. So somewhere down in this region there was a really good island, and I can't spot it now. So where's False? False is there. There it is. It's over on this side. So this one is significantly further away. It's bigger, but it's also got a river flowing through the middle of it, which is kind of not what we want in the middle of our farm. But this one is a little bit further away from land, and I measured it out. You'd sort of be loading like this square area if you're on the middle of the island, so you wouldn't load up any of this, which is really good. So there's that one right there, and then there's one that's slightly closer, which is this one over here near where Hypno is. And I can't make up my mind, so I'm just going to do basically more measuring and just double checking, thinking about it, and then we'll pick one of those two locations, and that's where our passive mob farm will end up being. Alright, so both locations are on the screen right now. This is the one we're going to build at, and this is the other one right here. And from this view you can see that this one is actually like significantly smaller. Now some of you will be looking at this on mobile, and I imagine this image wouldn't look too good in a video. That one just looks a little bit bigger overall. And I measured out the size. This one we're going to be able to make a farm that's about 100 blocks along, and the other island it's only going to be 50, so we can double the size of the farm if we were to build it over here. It's since occurred to me that vertical space is also a thing as well. Yeah, but also that other one is close to the land, so although this one is further away and it means, you know, a longer track in the Nether to build, I think this is the one that we're going to go to. So let's get that track set up, let's head over to this island and have a look at it firsthand. So now we're going to build an enormously long rail on the roof of the Nether to get there, and I have a little bit of a tip that I wanted to share with you. If ever you're doing this and you want to count out a distance, I've gone for 16 rails in between each pad one because we got a long way to go. Just divide them like that up on your hotbar. Obviously make sure you hit all of them down on the ground. At the moment I'm going to hold shift, but when we're out of the range of the beacon we shouldn't move so fast, and then that means you don't really have to do any counting. Just make sure that they've all been placed down, and then you can put a pad rail in between each time. It's also just occurred to me that we're going like across where Monkey Farm's area is, and then we're going to turn in what direction? We're going to go in that direction, so we should be good. I think Monkey Farms goes in that direction and pretty much stays in a straight line. Anyway, we're going to have our own rail system so that we don't have to, you know, interfere with his. So very far away from home we have arrived. Here are the coordinates. You can see we've gone quite a way through the Nether, and now we get to hop through this portal for the first time. Now it's since occurred to me that the breaking bedrock thing was patched in the Nether some time ago, and it was patched in one of those, you know, 1.8.4 or something like that. So it's actually been a while since we've been able to do that, which means I think we're going to have to use a method which Impulse showed me, where you can put a minecart on top of a ladder which is like directly below one of these blocks, and then when you hop out it pops you on top, I think. If not, we have a bit of a situation on our hands, because how do we get back to this part of the Nether and onto our rail? But we'll suss that out. We want to pop through here and hopefully it'll put us on the surface. It should do in theory because the portal is high up. There we go. And it just occurred to me that of course we're on amplified terrain and that this would be an amplified island. We're also apparently near the northern border, which would suggest I've gone in the opposite direction, and this is sort of a similar shape. This is kind of like alright territory really, looking at the size of this, but that isn't right. Or maybe we're not at the northern border. What way are we facing? East. Okay, actually no, that makes sense. We've come so far out that we're near where the border stretches off to in one direction, because it's not revolving around 0, 0. So yes, that'll make sense to some of you. This is our island, isn't it? It's got the water going through it. We can see a bunch of horses have just spawned, and that basically I've forgotten that this is amplified terrain and that we've got a mission ahead of us now, because we want to get rid of all the dirt over here as well and clear this out for some spawning. So anyway, let's try and suss out where it was I was going to build this on. I can't help but feel it's the bit that I'm standing on, and I shut down a mist, which was foolish of me. So we might have to flatten this for a larger space, but if we just look over there into that area, that side of the river, kind of looks like, you know, somewhere like there is the sort of section I was looking at on the map. In fact, if we're heading or looking in that direction and that's north, it is. Excellent. Okay, now I can remember what it looked like. So this is going to be our island where we spawn the mobs in, and then all of this needs to get covered over with water. And there's some grass the other side of the well border. I might have to make it a little bit bigger or move it slightly. But otherwise, nothing is loaded in those directions, which is what I was talking about earlier. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got to go back through and sort out the Nether portal. That was my next agenda, but we shouldn't pass up the opportunity to explore this island a little bit, and we should see a fair amount of passive mobs because there's nothing in the spawn chunks. So over here you can see lots of horses. I thought that was a rabbit for a second. And now some pigs have spawned right here. You can see the effects of what we've done in the spawn chunks now that we're visiting this new area. That's really cool. Let's look back over there. That's quite high, isn't it? So we're going to cover the whole of that island in water, and then we're going to flatten this one over here. I'm actually looking forward to doing this. I know we've done a lot of this already, but it's nice to do it out in this environment now. as well, I think. So I don't think there's anything else we really need to consider at this point. Let's also check out the biome, because there is some beach biome around here. Oh no, we've got a little rabbit. We've got a black rabbit. So beach, yeah, beach, and then some of this is beach too. Right, and it's beach for a while before it becomes deep ocean. Interesting stuff. We don't have to worry about the beach biome, because that's going to be sand and sandstone, as you can see there, and it's just the plains biome, which is all grass. So we kind of know what we're doing here, and it's just about fingers crossed now, really, isn't it? When we go back through to the Nether and hopefully be able to get back onto the roof, because if we can't, then we're in a bit of a pickle, because it's going to be some serious work to build another Nether tunnel. Anyway, you can see here that the island is not really that interesting, apart from looking generally quite nice. There's nothing special here, or like a mob spawner on the surface, so yeah, there's the island for you. Right, I'm going to head back up there. We're going to pop into the Nether and try and sort this situation out. Well, might as well record my first steps into the Nether. We've got a ghast over there that's probably going to start shooting at me. Lots of nether quartz and glowstone here, although of course we've got farms of glowstone, but if ever we need some more nether quartz, we've got plenty of it available around here. And that was off to the side a little bit. I haven't shot at ghasts in quite a while, and that one is too far away, isn't it? Alright, so we are at Y94. We're obviously going to head up to the ceiling now and see... Oh, look at that, I didn't bring any ladders, but I've got some wood, that's okay. Okay, we just went out a distance of being able to hear the hum of the nether portal above, because I've had to move around in search of a location where we are standing at Y125, because that is the last block. There's nothing above there but air. And we want something like this. Originally we were going to push the minecart on top of a ladder, but I was just wondering, would this work even better, because it's possibly a little bit higher when it's sitting on the rails, but all we've got to do is get in here and then shift to dismount and jump. Oh, and there you go, we did it. So that was it. That was extremely simple. I was expecting I might need to place some blocks to stop it from ejecting you elsewhere, but that's it. So now we can go through this portal, and then we'll be on the other side. I'm going to move this portal eventually, by the way. Hey, look, we've got a visitor. This will be put down there somewhere once we've covered all of this in water. 3 visitors. That's kind of unlikely. They must have walked through the portal from the other side. They couldn't have spawned from this portal alone. Okay, so now we come back through here. Look, another one's trying to go through. They want to visit the overworld. Then we go all the way up here, and it's not too long really. We're actually going to move that portal up into the nether ceiling. That makes a lot of sense, because this side of 128, the coordinate on the Y value, that's height, is going to be able to synchronize with that. So somewhere through here is where it was. It's going to be a little bit of a maze to find it again. Obviously, aha, there it is. I would sort of signpost it to some extent. I think this block here is the one that I pillared up on, so not very far at all. So somewhere just down here we're going to build another nether portal. There you go. So we should be able to fit that in somewhere here. Be nice to find a nice little spot where it can rest between some of the bedrock. Like just here actually, I think would be what I'm looking for. You got 2 at the top, then 1, 2, 3 on the side, like that, and yeah, that would be it, wouldn't it? 1, 2, 3, bang. Okay, so we'll give this one a test. It's probably going to dump us on the other one down below, but we can remove that when we come back through. Also, I think you've got to remove these blocks when doing it like this. So yeah, there we go. That's been hooked up. That's all good. It comes out of this one when we go back through. Ooh, rubber banding. Are we going to be at the one at the bottom or the top? It doesn't matter. I'll sort it out, of course. Let's have a look. We're at the one at the top. Excellent. Right. So then to get back through, to go to, to leave this area, it is this one right here. And a jump. Oh, shift jump. That is very fast. That does a lot of damage quickly. There you go. Right. That is awesome. Okay, so this area here has been tidied up, and I've now realised that the next thing I want to do is bring supplies over here, and we're probably going to do a time-lapse, but we'll do that in the beginning of the next one, because I want to cover this entire thing with water, and then we've got to go and demolish a lot of that down there, level it out flat so that we can build our farm on it. It's actually that bit over there. Yeah, that's where the farm's going. And that's going to be it for me this episode. Oh, press that too many times. Do hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. As always, thank you for your support on these videos, and I'll see you in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.